So, today, Agent Aliens is talking about going to Mars, right? And that we might have come from Mars, right? Well, like I said, right? We don't know how we got here or where we're from, right? And we don't know everything, but the problem is some people are just jerks, dumbasses, smartasses. So, the problem really wouldn't be those wanting to go there. The problem will be the paranoia about, staying here, right? In the first place, right? If you understand what I mean, right? See, it's in our nature to do something, and once we set our mind to do something, unless something interferes, usually it can happen, right? But the only thing that can really interfere with us going to Mars is other human beings. You get my point, right? Now, are there little green men on Mars and maybe they live under the surface of it? I don't know, right? But if you're not seeing anything, right, and you think we came from there, did they die out there or did they go underground? Now, I know the temperature is not suited for life, but they have also discovered methane, right? Which has to do with also life itself, right? And they see it similar to the pattern here on Earth, right? In the summertime, it's higher, and in the wintertime, it's lower. Why is that, right? And we're more active during the spring and summer, and we're less active during the fall and winter, right? So again, right, just because you don't see life on the surface of the planet, mole men, don't mean there couldn't be something underground, right? Now, the thing is, though, do they want us coming to their planet and recolonizing it? Maybe, right? If we're from there, right? And again, the question is, can we safely get there and back or stay there? And, they talked about it. If you go there, it's a one-way trip, right? You're going to stay there till you die of natural causes, right? The question is if we have 4,000 to 8,000 years left, because we're not sure what 10 days is to God, right? And we got 10 days of tribulation, whatever that means, right? And that coincides with several things, right? That's a third of how long it takes the sun to revolve on its axis, right? It's also a prophetical month, right? It's 30 days, right? And also, it's a third of that. But the problem is, if a third of the population is killed off at some point, right? That's over 2 billion people suddenly being killed off all at once, right? That's what the Bible's warning about. Right. See, just as whatever started the life, we can destroy ourselves within our own planet, right? Now, the first minor bombs and the first nuclear bombs, right, we know were dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima in 1945 at the end of World War II, right? And it was a message to Japan to stop all the aggression towards the West, right? That's part of why they did it anyway. And they kind of didn't have to. Maybe they're not sure, right, of all the details, right? But they're trying to do robots. They're trying to all kind of things, right? And to get to Mars, right? Now, I'm not a part of that. I may never be a part of that, right? But I am trying to understand why Jesus says heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word will never pass away. Mm-hmm. And the tribulation period lasts 10 days. That's all I know for sure. Mm-hmm. And the odd thing is, the Egyptian week was originally 10 days, not 7 like in the Bible. Mm-hmm. They had 3 more days in their week, and I guess they had 3 weeks instead of 4. Mm-hmm. Right. Though ours has to do with the lunar and solar cycles, though, right? The Jews and Muslims use the lunar calendar, and the Romans and Europeans use more of a solar calendar. Right. And that's why you get confused with the calendars, too. There's more than one, right? See, when the monks tried to, do the calendar back to the birth of Christ, well, they kind of messed up the true calendar, right? The original calendar, if you will, right? And that would change the dates of a few things, right? And people don't seem to want to think about it even that way, but that's what would happen, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, like I told you, some people can handle the truth, but some people can't, right? As well. So. And they want to harm those telling them the truth, even, right? Or attack them for no reason, right? Now, if I'm home alone, right, and I'm by myself, only way I can meet someone is either out in public or someone sneaks over here at night, right? I told you that before, right? I'm telling you that for a reason. But not because I know what's really happening, but because I don't, right? My TV is being messed with, without me knowing who's doing the messing with it, right? See, that is something you would know, right? What channel you left your TV on last, right? Only if it's, you're asleep for a few hours and then you wake up, and the TV's on a different channel. Mm-hmm. That does suggest someone could have came by or did something through sneaking into the house somehow, right? Like, sometimes you lock your garage door and sometimes you don't, for example, right? And if you leave it unlocked, someone might try to sneak in through it, right? So they gotta use ninja skills or something to do so, right? Themselves, right? If you know what I mean. Because if you're lifting the garage, you wake me up, right? I know. Now, of course, ringing the doorbell or knocking at the door, someone usually comes to the door, Comcast girl. Girl at the nail salon, right? And if I don't remember what happened and I catch you as you're leaving, and was half dressed before you showed up, was probably planning on getting dressed, right? But don't remember getting dressed, but get dressed and catch you before you leave, right? And you're there around 25 minutes. I know. You're the only one who could have blacked me out. Again, and I would tell you about the other problem with the other girl. I'd also check if you had a boyfriend, if you were single, whatever, right? Or married, right? Mm-hmm. I do all that to be safe for myself, right? The only if you tell me it don't matter to you, right? I know, right? Should we do something, right? But if I don't remember, you're also the only one who can black me out, right? hoping I wouldn't say nothing about it, but that's exactly what made me say something about it, right? You yourself said you have to, wait 15 minutes before you can even leave the house once you're here, to make sure I'm home, right? Or didn't go off somewhere. I remember most of our brief conversation after 20 minutes of lapsed time, right? And the question is, like with the girl at the nail salon, why did I lose 20 to 25 minutes of time, right? And I was talking about, being with Mary Bell about the same amount of time, right? Including foreplay, right? So again, right?
With some scientists, and they say the next thing that's going to be coming is the cyborg evolution of humanity for those that are going to go into space.
We have this Hollywood image that the aliens are going to land and they're going to come out looking somewhat like us and they'll say, "Take us to your leader, Earthman." But I think it could be quite different. They could be part robotic. Realize that they could be thousands of years more advanced than us.
If there is a culture out there that's more advanced than us, they've already built these robotic bodies, why wait for them to come to us? We have to become a huge spacefaring culture, a civilization, to go out and answer these questions for ourselves instead of just sitting on our hands and waiting for them to give us the answer someday.
In finding ways to modify the human body, along with developing highly advanced methods for terraforming other planets, is mankind really going where no one has gone before? Or are we simply fulfilling our destiny, one that stretches back to the very beginnings of human life here on Earth?
Well, see, that's the problem if one side is good and the other side is evil. The question is, why are we on the outer arm of the Milky Way, millions of miles away from any other solar system, even, right? If you want to go there, right? And even at the speed of light, if you were to leave and come back, you would be unchanged, but the Earth could go forward in time hundreds of years, right? And then when you get back, you might be the same, but the Earth would have been changed, right? Ain't that kind of weird, right? Now, also, another thing is, the lights you were seeing are past. You don't even know there's anything there anymore, right? By the way, if you understand what I mean, right? And here's what I mean, right? If it takes the light billions of years to get here, right? Okay, and it left the star billions of years ago, right, to get here, right? You don't know it's even currently there if you were to travel to it, right? By the way, it's a past light, right? That is shining to us now, right? But let's say, take for example, Andromeda galaxy and the Milky Way galaxy look like they could collide into one another. Well, in a way, we don't know that didn't already happen, right? We're looking in the past, not the present, right? We don't even know where we're kind of at fully, right? And we're trying to figure it out as we go along, right? Well, the thing about that is, something made you by the point that we're aware of our surroundings, but we don't know anything through osmosis. We have to learn it, right? Now, the only way osmosis can work, though, is if you listen to one voice. But the devil is trying to be a negative voice to mankind, right? you know, the thing about there being two sides of a coin, right? If there's good, there could also be evil unconditionally, right? Now, the thing is, though, things like sex, right? Things like, stealing, right? From somebody, right? Minor things, right? You can still work within being good and do them, right? It's like watching TV. Is that a sin or not, right? Well, if you want information, you need to watch TV, fool. Or you don't know what's going on, right? It's like reading the Bible. If your pastors are just showing you certain scriptures, why aren't you reading the ones they aren't showing you and seeing why they're not showing you those scriptures? I did. Right. I also read the Gnostic Gospels a little bit for you today, earlier, right? And guess what? Mary's right. You don't see a vision with your soul or with your spirit or with your blood, but with your mind, right? And the reason is you're not seeing it with your physical eyes, right? You're seeing it with your inner eye, your third eye, right? Which some cultures talk about that, but the Jewish culture don't, right? They don't tell you, right? And when Isaiah sees the Lord on his throne with the train, right, down to the temple, right? What that all means, right?
Just slower childhood development, a height susceptibility to illness, spinal problems, and difficulty giving birth.
Oh, guess what?
That they most likely evolved.
God healed me of a spinal cord injury, right?
There are a lot of indications
Maybe
that
two,
mankind,
maybe
the
two.
human race, actually did not evolve on the planet Earth. For one thing, if we go out in the sun too long, we get sunburn. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense unless the conditions on planet Earth have changed very dramatically in the last few thousand years.
Possibly.
Outdoors. That also indicates that our eyes are not properly adapted to the planet.
Some recent studies in sports medicine have shown us.
But the thing is, we're made from matter on the planet, right? See, whatever made us, however it made us, we are made from certain matter found on the planet, right? Now, you want to create a superior human being, but in order to do so, what happens to us? The inferior model, right? That's the problem with all that, you scientists. Talk about the island of Dr. Monroe, indeed, right? This is like, other weird movies, I know, where they genetically bioengineer human beings. So, is that right or wrong too, right? See, these are moral questions. If you only observe what surrounds you, morality can sometimes go out the window. Right, that's the problem, right? Now, why are we the way we are? Well, we ate something or did something with something that gave us a weakened body. Get that?
On Mars. And if so, what might have caused our ancient ancestors to come to Earth so many years ago?
That's called a theory, though, right? The problem is, either way, you don't know for sure.
Its atmosphere started bleeding away into outer space because it had no magnetic field to help shield the planet.
In 1970,
But then you might have to go underground. I know, right? If you were on Mars, right? or go to another planet if Earth wasn't terraformed yet, right?
It was largely dismissed by the academic community, who thought the idea absurd. But recent physical evidence has come to light that may prove Sitchin more correct than even he believed possible. October 7th, 2008. An 80-ton asteroid enters the Earth's atmosphere and explodes 23 miles above the Nubian Desert in Sudan. That day, an estimated 600 meteorites literally showered the landscape. But what if the meteorites were found to contain something incredible?
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Evidence that they came from what scientists now believe to have been a lost planet in our solar system. One which was destroyed thousands of years ago.
The asteroid belt in our solar system, it's a strange thing, and some have suggested that
it's the remains.
a planet that exploded at some point, and the inhabitants of that planet either went to Mars or they came to Earth.
Or both.
I'm convinced that the reason why there's such a huge fascination with space travel is because
that's kind of the Goldilocks region from Earth to that planet, possibly, right? And again, right?
Collision, as Zechariah Sitchin suggested, could its displacement have had a calamitous effect on other nearby planets? Perhaps Mars. And how would the ancient Sumerians have known about it?
between Mars and Jupiter today, we have the Asteroid Belt. And the Asteroid Belt, in my opinion, was once a planet which exploded. Which exploded because there was a war. There was a war in space, a war in heaven. Many mythologies speak about this war in heaven, including our Christian religion.
Right.
That the Archangel Lucifer fighted against the Archangel Michael. Greek mythology, every mythology around the
Now, they're not both archangels. They're probably closely related than you think, right? It might even be a son-father thing, right?
Actually,
See, Zeus is the chief god, right? Who is Ares, the god of war? Well, if Zeus is benevolent, right, maybe, right? Ares learned war.
And this is our
Like in Wonder Woman. And became the bad guy, right? And taught human beings to war. Which is also the knowledge of good and evil, right? See, peace comes only when we realize we're all basically the same models, right? And work towards society first, right? And working out our differences, right? Not in acting superior or inferior, not in looking on your outward appearance, right? Alone, right? Not in looking at if someone's overweight or not, or disabled or not, or has a mental defect or not, right? Right. All that could happen because of the war between Michael and Satan, right? Now, the Jehovah's Witnesses say Michael is the celestial image and Jesus is his terrestrial image, right? That means Satan and Jesus became human. Now, another theory from Ezekiel we get is that Satan not only was in Eden, right? He's the tree itself of the knowledge of good and evil, right? That's what the Gnostics mean, so. But the wisdom he gave us was the dark wisdom, right? Ignorance, stupidity. I know. Plain dumb, right? Wrath. Loving the flesh more than your spirit, right? I know. thinking you're what it made you from instead of that which is in your form. Right? All these things cause you to act manly. Right? And but according to whose image of man? Satan's, right? Aries, Mars, the enemy of God, right? And Jesus. Or the eternal spirit in Michael. Right. Now, like I said, if you want to worship Jesus' birthday, Jehovah's Witnesses, right? When he was born in Bethlehem, right? On the night he was born, is that when the shepherds came to Mary and Joseph before he was circumcised even? Yeah. That sounds like a celebration, huh? Right? Happy birthday, Jesus. And no, it's not in the Jewish Bible, but it is in the Gentile Bible. So if you want to celebrate it by giving gifts as the Magi did Jesus, and they gave him 3 gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and 2 of them are mentioned in the Song of Solomon as well, right? And perfumes and other stuff. And Mary anointed his feet with perfume twice, maybe. She could also be the woman, right? In Simeon's house, right? And at the Last Supper, right? Though in Simeon's house, Luke doesn't identify her as Mary. But why? I don't know. Because, see, the audience knew, right? They knew that was Mary, right? By the time the Catholics started becoming Catholic, by the way, over the Gnostic belief, right? The Orthodox solidified their belief over the Gnostic belief. But Gnostic also means knowledge, right? Wisdom, right? Knowing something about something, right? And mainly that something is our God, right? Now, Satan wants you ignorant of God, right? And God wants you to know about it, right? But guess who I think's winning? Satan, right? I know.
These things that are coming out of the asteroid belt, these rocky meteors that then impact the Earth. So over the last 15 years, we've studied how many are there, how many cross our orbit, and we find that there are some really big ones. They are going to hit the Earth. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when.
We get a single hit from an asteroid that's as big as the one that took out the dinosaurs, and that, by the way, is a 100% probability that that is going to happen sooner or later. When that happens, all human life on Earth comes to a halt, and we go extinct.
All of our proverbial eggs are in this one basket.
Now,
Happen to us if there is a asteroid incident, if there is a human disaster created, and every element of our culture can get wiped out instantly.
In recent years, more and more experts have come forward to stress the importance of establishing human settlements off Earth in order to ensure the continuation of the species. But is humankind still many years away from having the capability to realize this ambitious goal? Or could efforts to colonize Mars be much further along than the government is willing to reveal? Boulder, Colorado, August 8th, 2018. Tech titan and SpaceX founder Elon Musk convenes a secret meeting of high-level scientists, engineers, and space colonization experts. The 60 attendees are warned not to publicize anything about the meeting or even acknowledge their participation. But news of the meeting leaks, sparking widespread speculation. Why such secrecy from its organizer, a man who rarely shies away from the spotlight? Some have suggested there could be a connection to an event that happened 7 weeks earlier. President Donald Trump's call for the establishment of a new branch of the U.S. military, the Space Force.
So recently, President Trump announced a Space Force. Basically, what he's saying is we are going to develop an outer space initiative, a deep space program that's going to be started from the military, controlled by the military, and apparently will have militaristic aims. Now, some people may find this alarming, but others may look at it and say, what's really happening here is a very, very crucial moment in human history and in the history of the United States, where we are stepping into space in a real serious way. In relation to the space program, the private...
See, you don't know all this is going on, right? And this is called... No. Info. This is what you don't know is happening around you, right? And unless, like me, you watch this, right, you still don't know, right? You're ignorant. Ignoramus, right?
About the fact that if we
You're playing dumb, right?
get some contingency of humans,
That's the problem with everybody. No. Satan's got us all playing dumb. No.
going beyond, that eventually Homo sapiens sapien,
And he does want to destroy the planet. The question is, what does Christ mean when he says, even if heaven and earth shall pass away, my word shall not pass away? And Isaiah mentions also world without end.
And go beyond Earth. Start moving.
The earth is possible because something made it from the beginning, right? But that's why, again, I tell you, time to God is not the same to us here, right? A day, it could be 1,000 years or more to God, right?
Or does not know. As we begin to migrate off Earth,
1,000 years could be, like I said, an hour to God. You don't know, right?
in the universe,
And what I'm trying to do is make you more aware of God and ask questions. The problem isn't going to Mars. The problem is, can we safely go there without it causing incidences, right, and war, right, between other human beings who don't think we're worthy to go there or something, right? And again, another possibility, right, is that if Earth can be struck by a meteor, so can Mars, right?
closing of a gigantic circle. Is it possible that ancient stories involving everything from angels and gods descending to the earth, to miracles and extraordinary extraterrestrial events, were handed down from generation to generation in order to prepare mankind for interplanetary exploration?
But that's what it really looks like. That's what it really looks like. Now, yes, they're animating the real image, right? This was found in South America, idiot, right? And it looks like some kind of mechanism the person is using in the first place, right? My battery's run out already. Right. But when I do it with a commentary, right, I'm trying to educate people to watch the show, right? That's also promotional for free, right?
One who believes in doing anything it takes to make dentistry work for you.
And I'm trying to help people figure out what we need to do, right?
Every day. Plus, patients
as a
treatment.
planet, and people on the planet, what is the real answer, right? We by the way, have to figure it out as we go along, right? And can still make mistakes, right? That's the problem. All right.